What if I told you the next 48 hours could decide whether the Middle East explodes into war or if America finally breaks free from decades of Israeli pressure? Netanyahu just landed in Washington, and he's not here to negotiate. He's here to deliver an ultimatum to Trump. Strike Iran or watch the world burn. Let's cut through the noise. Netanyahu's facing the fight of his political life back home. Corruption trials, public outrage, and a government on the brink. But instead of fixing his own mess, he's dragging Trump and the entire West into a showdown with Iran. This isn't just about nukes or missiles. It's about power, survival, and who really calls the shots in the Middle East. Forget the headlines. Netanyahu's not warning the West. He's blackmailing it. On camera, he says, "Heed our warnings." But what's he really threatening? Here's the dirty secret: Israel's so-called Samson Option. For decades, Israeli leaders have hinted, never outright said, that if Israel's existence is threatened and America walks away, they'll go nuclear, not just on Iran, but on anyone in the region. It's the ultimate doomsday card, and Netanyahu's waving it in Trump's face. But why now? Because Netanyahu's political survival depends on keeping Israel in a state of crisis. If the war drums stop, his legal troubles catch up. If the West stops backing him, he loses his shield. So he's not asking for help. He's demanding it, with the unspoken threat: back me, or I'll make this your problem too. Here's where it gets ugly. Netanyahu's meeting with Trump isn't about coordination. It's about delivering an ultimatum. He wants Trump to green-light airstrikes on Iran's nuclear sites. Now. He wants Iran's missile program crippled, uranium enrichment stopped, and underground bunkers destroyed. If Trump says no, Netanyahu's threatening to go it alone, knowing full well that any Israeli attack will trigger Iranian retaliation, drag American forces into the fight, and let him blame Trump for the fallout. But Trump's not stupid. He knows Netanyahu's desperate. He knows the American public is turning against endless wars and blank check support for Israel. And he knows that if he gives in, he's not just bombing Iran, he's letting a foreign leader dictate US policy. Let's get real. This isn't about Iran's missiles or nuclear sites. Iran's been a threat for 40 years. What's changed? Netanyahu's legal clock is ticking. 3 criminal cases, bribery, fraud, breach of trust, are closing in. But under Israeli law, a wartime prime minister can't be removed, even if convicted. So what does Netanyahu need? Permanent crisis. War means immunity. Peace means prison. That's why he's pushing Trump so hard. If Trump negotiates peace with Iran, Netanyahu loses his excuse for emergency powers. Investigations speed up. Rivals circle. His coalition collapses. So he's betting everything on forcing Trump's hand. Strike Iran or watch Israel act alone and blame America for the chaos. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the Samson Option. It's not just a myth. Multiple Israeli leaders have hinted at it since the 70s. If Israel faces collapse, all bets are off. Netanyahu's recent warnings about unbearable consequences aren't aimed at Tehran. They're aimed at Washington. He's saying, if you don't back me, I'll make sure you regret it. But here's the twist. Does anyone really believe Israel would go nuclear just to save one man's political career? Would America let itself be blackmailed by a leader on trial? Or is this all just desperate bluffing from a prime minister running out of options? This meeting isn't just about Iran. It's about whether American presidents can finally put U.S. interests first, or if Israeli leaders can still hijack American power for their own survival. Trump's got a choice: cave to Netanyahu's threats, or call his bluff and risk a regional war. But here's the kicker. Analysts say Iran would likely hit back at Israel, not the U.S., unless America joins the attack. So Netanyahu's threat to drag America in might be emptier than he wants you to think. Meanwhile, Netanyahu's hedging his bets in Europe, cozying up to far-right leaders as mainstream support dries up. He's preparing for a world where America and the EU finally say, enough. But he's running out of time. His trials are moving fast. If he's convicted, only war can keep him in power. So, what's really at stake? This isn't just about Iran or Israel. It's about whether the US will keep letting foreign leaders dictate its wars or finally draw a line. Netanyahu's playing with fire, and Trump's the only one who can stop him or let him light the match. Here's what you need to watch for. Does Trump authorize the strikes? Does Netanyahu act alone? Does the region explode, or does diplomacy win out? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should America keep backing Netanyahu, or is it time to walk away? Smash that like button if you want real talk, not recycled headlines. Subscribe for more no BS analysis you won't get anywhere else.